Hi, everybody. I'm Matt with K15T, and welcome to our live stream where we will be talking all about database design in Confluence and also building automations in Confluence. I'm really excited because they're two kind of very different things, but both of them are super powerful tools and techniques that can help us to really make a huge impact within our organization using tools that I think a lot of people don't even know are built into Confluence. Hey, y'all, I see you piling into the chat. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. This is live, so you can throw, words into the chat and I will respond to them. I will answer questions. It's live for that reason, so we can learn together. Now, one thing that I would love to see in the chat is we can first start talking about Confluence databases, or we can start talking about automations. I would love to know from you, which one would you love to hear about first? I know, shocking. I'm outsourcing decision-making, but it is Wednesday morning for me, so of course I'm going to do that. So if y'all would throw into the chat, what would you like to hear about first? Automation or databases? That would be fantastic. Additionally, if you have any questions, if you would just write #question before that, that would be really helpful to me because then I can more easily spot those things. So if you just add #question to your question and then write it in the chat, that is awesome because then I can see it clearly. I'm seeing some votes for automations. I'm seeing a vote for databases. Okay. All right. Oof. All right. So far, so even. Just so you know, if you have not hit that subscribe button in YouTube, you probably should, because next week we are going to be doing another follow-up session all about building Rovo agents, which will be complementary. And actually, we're going to use one of our Rovo agents a little bit today when we talk about automations. And so next week we will talk about how to actually make one of those, which I know prompting and all of this, it's a lot to think about. So we will take a look at it together. So, Ada, thank you. The Anaheim session, if anyone in the audience here was at the Anaheim session, I don't know if it was insane. It was a lot of fun. Anybody else in the chat, you can chime in on as to whether it was actually insane. But yes, this is a follow-up to a session I did live at Team 26 in Anaheim, which was really fantastic. I hope at least some of y'all were there. Really, really awesome. Kind of dipped our toes into Confluence, and now here we are to dip our ankles and knees into Confluence. That's a weird expression if you think about it. Okay, anyway, so I am seeing 1, 2, 3 for automations, 1, 2 for databases. All right, we're going automations first. I'm pretty pumped. Okay, so here we go. Y'all, just so you know, I am not the be-all, end-all automation expert. You should be aware of this because you're probably not going to be like, oh my God, that is the most advanced automation I have ever seen in my life. We're going to be talking about concepts. We're going to be talking about how to actually use these tools to get things done. So just so you know, just like many of us, right, Atlassian is becoming. Am I right? So we're actually in this sort of odd stage in between automation solutions for Atlassian. So there is a feature called Studio, and I'll show it to you in a little bit, where the idea is you create automations for all the things as well as Robo agents. That said, it's not exactly done. So I was kind of hoping to show you that, but I can't. So in the meantime, we're going to look at basically the same experience, but it's more centered around just automating Confluence, with the goal that eventually you'll have just kind of one big place where you will create Robo agents and automations and and even apps that run on the Forge platform, which is the kind of the app development platform that's part of the Atlassian ecosystem. Jason, Keith, great to have you as subscribers. Welcome to the club. Y'all, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do, so you can join next week. Also, if you hadn't hit the like button, please do also. YouTube eats that stuff up. It loves it so much. Okay, so let's go into Confluence. And I want to build some automations for my space. Now, generally, we build space level automations. You can also have automations that run across all of Confluence, but much of the time, right, you have a space in Confluence that's geared toward a specific team, right? So it'll be like, oh, this team, we have weekly meetings and we're always creating weekly meeting pages. Could we automate that? Or, we have a space where we manage a specific project and we want to do project communication. So generally, the most automations are space by space, but you can have global automations as well. Like maybe one of your policies is just across the organization is, hey, if any page hasn't been looked at in the last 6 months, we flag it for archival and we have a human being look at it, right? That sort of thing. Thank you, Ian. It's great to have you here. It was a lot of fun. If anybody in the chat was at Anaheim, did you roller skate? I know Ian roller skated. Y'all should be that was the best. That was so much fun, the roller skating. I hope they do that again. Okay, so let's say I am a project manager for this project right here. So we have this Good Software Swag Store project where we are working as a team to launch a swag store. This is a really important project because one of the things, yeah, Ada, Rovo was having a week. I think we all were at team. That's what was going on with Robo, I guess. Maybe. So one of the things that's really important to know, and we talked about this in the last session, is this swag store project actually impacts the organization in a few different ways. So first of all, we want to have the swag store ready and operational so that we can handle international shipments, taxation, these sorts of things. So there's a lot to just consider there. Additionally, we're also planning our GoodCon 26 conference, which is upcoming. And our event planner is already gotten the commitment from us that we're going to have the swag store at least to a place where we can give out codes to attendees so they can order their own swag in their own size and textile choices rather than shipping it in bulk to the venue, having a bunch of overstock that we have to then dispose of. So there's an estimated like $15,000 to $20,000 in savings that will come to the events team if the swag store is up and running. So this happens all the time in our organizations, right? These sorts of impacts are really important. And we talked about this in the last session. It was identified recently by the project team at a stand-up that they recorded with Loom that they might have to delay the launch of the store because the accounting system, which is owned by another team, has a memorandum on changes to the system. So they might have to delay the swag store launch because they don't want any changes that might impact accounting, which will, of course, impact the events team. So these are really important contingencies that we saw in the last session, how Rovo brought these all up. So what I want to do specifically here as a PM, I want to create a communication mechanism where I can communicate to my stakeholders. And for me, these are my C levels, right? This is upper management or program managers or directors who need to know at a high level, how is the project going? What are the barriers currently? And what is the impact, right? So if you've ever, I'm not fantastic at talking to people at that level because I think I just ramble on and they're like, hey, there's like 3 things I need to know. Why don't you just tell me what those things are? So what we'll look at next week a little more is I created a Rovo agent to help me create that kind of content. And we'll look at how we did that. But for this session, I want to make an automation to help me with this communication and potentially help communicate further if there is a problem. Because if any of you are product manager or project managers, you know that when there's an issue, you're like, I don't know if you've ever heard the term, raise it up on the flagpole. Is that the thing? Hoist it on the flag? Oh God, I don't even know expressions. I don't know. You have to just start clanging the cymbals and saying, oh my gosh, there's a big issue that no one saw coming and it's going to impact these big things so that you get the attention from leadership Raise a flag? Is that it, Anna? And I don't, maybe. That could be it. Thoughts on the chat as to which English expression Matt is trying to use. Run it up the flagpole. There it is. Thank you. Thank you. Run it up the flagpole. Is that a nautical thing? Y'all, there are so many English nautical terms that we just throw out. Like, it's insane. There's an Animaniacs episode where they like have like 20 of them in there. I was like, I had no idea. Okay, so all this to say, let's make an automation. So in the future, we'll go somewhere else to build automations, but we're not in the future. We are in the current. So let's go to our space menu here. And I'm going to go to automation. Now I have to have permissions to be able to do this. So I need to have space admin. Okay. Jason, thanks for joining. Thanks for subscribing. It's lovely to have you. Keith as well. Here we go. Here we go. So here is the automation area. This is a bit blah looking. It's going to be better, I promise. But here we are. And you can see here are all of the flows. So a flow, which like yesterday was known as an automation rule. These are the actual steps, the boop, the doop, the doop, the doop, to do a thing. It's nautical. It's how ships used to identify themselves as a friend or foe. Ah, yes. Thank you. All right. Yo, I'm learning so much from this chat. I'm so glad I came here to learn things. And you can see there's a button here to go to the global automation administration. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. We're making a flow in this space. So the first thing we can do is we can create with Robo, which is, I think, a really great place to start. So we do have, there's a templates area here, which is a nice place to sort of see, like, generally, what can I do? And this is nice if you're like my team uses Slack. Like, is there something I can do with Slack? So when a meeting is recorded by Loom, allocate tasks to Jira, summarize the meeting, and send a summary on Slack. Like, whoa, that's a lot. That's a lot of us. And I really love that it's right here. And the cool thing is, for any one of these, you can just grab this and you can copy it, right? So you can very quickly duplicate it and then customize it. So for many of us, like, we don't even need to really build an automation. We just copy it and then come in and like pick which Slack channel stuff should go to, pick where the work item should be created, like which space in Jira, and like we're good to go. So very, very cool. Y'all are going, the origin of the expression, let it run on the flagpole. See if anyone salutes it. It's a business metaphor comparing an idea to a flag, hoisting up the flagpole. This is incredible. Thank you, chat. You are keeping me informed. Yeah. Has anyone had the fun experience of learning that an expression you used in the past is actually very inappropriate or like incredibly problematic? That's a fun one. That's a fun one. Okay, so templates are a really great place to get started, but I want to get started with Rovo because I know kind of what our unique use case is here. So let's say, is my little dictation thingy working? Dictate, do it. I want to create an automation that reviews all of the current status of the Swag Store project. And every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, sends an update to my executive team. I want it to use a Rovo agent I've already created to make sure the terminology and format of that communication is done correctly. I want the communication to be sent via email. Cool. All right, so we're gonna do that. Lovely, lovely. If you're curious what app I'm using here, it's called Whisper Flow. It's a lot better than the dictation built into macOS. Apple, please, your event is next week. Please tell us that you fixed this. Please, you're so rich. Please fix this. All right, so Rovo is now going to try to build a first pass at a flow here for us, which is fantastic. And now I can catch up on any other nautical terms I may have missed. 7 years in the Navy. Whew. Now all I can think of is that song. Did anybody watch that? No, okay, now I'm thinking of when the Muppets covered Way Down in Kokomo or whatever that song. Oh God. Uh-oh. Anyway, okay. This flow was generated by Rovo. Please review and turn it on. Okay, let's do it. All right, so here we go. We have our first flow here. And honestly, this is one of my favorite UIs ever because it's so self-documenting. Like, it's not like we're writing code here, y'all. We can read through this and see what is this automation going to do. So it's given it a name, weekly Swag Store project status update. So the first step is what's called the trigger. And you can see it's in green. That's kind of nice as long as you're not, red-green colorblind. This one's green. For those of you who might be struggling, that's a green one. And it just means this is the go button. Okay. Kind of wish I could make this go away. So can I, yeah, it was good. Can you go away? Why is the button try again? I don't want you here. Okay. Sorry, y'all. It's a little squished. So here, I can show just my screen if that helps a little bit. So we can see we're going to execute the flow on a recurring schedule, e.g. every 7 days from the time of publication. So it's describing exactly what we set up. And you can see here, here's what we did. So it starts on 4/15. So that's a few days ago. Wait, what? April 2023. Okay, no. Let's, okay. So, all right, AI. All right. How do I, you're gonna fight me on it, huh? You're not gonna let me change it manually? All right, fine. It can start then. That's okay. We can do that, whatever. So it started forever ago for some reason, and it's never going to end. Another thing we can do here is we could have it go for a month, right? Like if it's, hi, Ella. Hey, Michaela. Oh God, Michaela. Thanks for joining. Nice to have you subscribed. Great learning together. Maybe you're like, okay, it's product launch time. I want daily communications to go out every day for the next month, right? You can set this to do that until a certain day. But we're going to keep going forever because we don't know when this project is going to end. It's going to go every 1 week on Monday morning at 9 a.m. America, Chicago time. Oh, no. We need New York. Let's see. Can I? Oh, we can. Beautiful. Lovely. Okay. And this is cool. So it will give you a recurrence schedule, which this is actually new since the last time I was in here. And this is so great. So I can see when will this communication go out. This is so fantastic. Chat says I can edit the date with a backspace. Well, I mean, I'm trying. Like, it won't let me like move my cursor or anything. Well, it'll let me do it that way. I am a captive audience in that box. If your start date is 2023, are you about to generate 3 years of old weekly reports? I don't think so. I'm really hoping Atlassian's engineers are not going to, have set this up so it's not going to fire off a billion times. And I can see from my recurring schedule that the next one will happen on this coming Monday in the year of our Lord 2026. So we have the recurrence part set up. So now I've got this Rovo bit. So right now it's dropped in the use Rovo, and you can see how this one is purpley? This is called an action. So the action is, okay, we've been there's a trigger. Something has happened. We're getting going. Now let's take an action and do something. So it wants to use the use Rovo action, but actually I don't want to use this one because remember I said, I don't want to just use vanilla Rovo. I have an agent that I made, remember? So I'm gonna delete this one. Oh no, everything's ruined. No, it's fine. Don't worry. So I'm gonna hit the plus button here, and I'm going to add an action. Oh, I'm sorry. Actions are in blue. So I'm gonna open up the action menu, and again, what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm going full hacker on this dialog box. Do you all see this? Did anybody know I have a computer science degree? Does anybody know here that I can hopefully not break the whole DOM when I delete this thing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. All right. We're feeling powerful now. That was not an Atlassian sanctioned maneuver there, but I do feel great. All right, everybody. Wow, we can see everything. So much context. Now you can see me. Hey, I'm still here. All right, so instead of just using Rovo, which is cool, like we could just have a generic prompt go into Rovo, I want to use an agent. So got to connect it. Cool, it's connected to my company, and I want to use my executive project advisor. Awesome, this is lovely. And then I'm gonna say, so this is the prompt, just like, thank you, everyone's so impressed. Oh my gosh, look at this, crazy. Just like if you were chatting with this agent, I'm just gonna issue a prompt here, which is really kind of incredible because it's like bringing a teammate into a process, right? I'm bringing this agent that I've created that's an expert at creating executive briefs about projects right into the process here. So I'm going to say, create a summary of the current status and roadblocks for the swag store. Oh, I forgot I have a dictation, y'all. All right, and now I got to fix my typos. That's not a word. And then, whoop. Anybody who struggles with typing and writing because of your brain makeup, let's hear a whoop whoop. And then I'm going to go over, because I want to make sure my agent has context, you know, because context is nice. That feels good. So I'm going to go to my projects, and I'm going to grab the link to, so this is the page with my project info. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. Go back to Confluence here. All the project information is under this page. So another thing we could do here, right, is if we also have a Jira space, we could add the link to the Jira space here. For this example, I don't have a really great Jira space, but it should. Yeah. So there we go. And now we have this thingy. Do y'all see this? Is anybody like, oh my God, that's code. We just saw Matt do coding, and now there's more code. We didn't think this was going to be such a high-tech, high-stakes demo. Well, it turns out it's none of those things. So within a workflow, we have things that are called smart values. Ooh. And basically, these are ideas and pieces of information that are important, that we can either draw out of Confluence or that are kind of created within our flow here. So in this case, we're going to get a response from our agent, right? Because our whole agent's job is to create a bunch of text, right? To create that executive summary. So that's what this is. It's like a little placeholder that we can stick anywhere so that when our flow actually runs, wherever this thingy is, that output from the agent will just get stuck in there. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to copy this. It's nice. There's a little copy button. And also, do you see the little curly brackets? They call this double mustache syntax. Fun fact. It's like Mario and Luigi are holding all of our smart values for us. So, you know, if in doubt, when in doubt, double stash it out. All right, so this is our double mustache. I've copied this value. We can always come back and get this anytime. So the other thing I want to do is I need to move this, right? This is actually the first thing we need to do. See how easy that is? So I can change up my flow at any time. I can change the execution of things. All good. So now I can go to the final step. So this was, remember, I said I want it to be emailed. We couldn't validate some fields. Okay, that's all right. We got this. Okay, so let's give this a name. So this is going to be weekly project update and the recipients. So all of your user groups for Confluence and Jira and everything, they will be in here. I don't have any good ones. So I'm gonna, I know I'm gonna send it to Erica at goodsoftware.com. Okay, so Erica definitely needs it, right? This is where you would send it to an email distribution list or a group in Confluence. You can also add CCs or BCCs, all that stuff. Do I want it from Confluence at goodsoftware.atlassian.net? Let's let's say, let's send it from project updates at goodsoftware.atlassian.net. So I can tell my stakeholders, please don't send these to your spam folder. Filter out anything that comes from project updates at goodsoftware.atlassian.com so that you make sure that you get these, right? So pretty cool. Subject, weekly swag store project status update. Okay, pretty groovy. But, you know, let's give them a little more context, don't you think? Like, let's tell them what is the day? What week is it? So if we dare, let's get our double mustaches on and add some smart values here. All right, I had to wait a minute, so I knew you were all double mustached. So the nice thing is I can click this button and I have access to this beautiful little helpful menu where I can search for all of the possible smart values I could use here. So what I want is a date value. All I want is a good date. Am I right, everybody? That I'm I don't know if that joke stuck. Okay, so here, like immediately it's like, oh my God, what am I looking at? But if you look, each one of these is described. It returns the date in this format. Here is an example. So I could, have it be very, very detailed. Tuesday, August 18th, 2020. Okay, that's a bit much. So I'm going to keep, my gosh, Tuesday, August 18th, 2020. Like too much. Too much, darling, too much. We need something simpler and no capes. Okay, so let's go with this one. I like, no, not August 18th. That one looks nice. So I'm going to grab this. So I'm going to copy it. Bleep. And I'm going to put it right here at the beginning of the subject. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to add the value, today. Today.longdate. I believe, is that the right format? Today? I think today is the day. There is so much better documentation from from the Atlassian team on just these things, but I think it's literally like you can read it like English. Today.longdate. We're gonna find out when we test test this. Thanks, Anne. Yeah, I love Edna mode. She's should inspire everyone. Okay, so and I want a little dash here. So now every time this email goes out, it's going to have the updated date. So my stakeholders, if they were off on holiday, they can come back and they can read the most recent brief, which is really fantastic. And I want to have more fun with this, but I can't. But there is so much that we can add here, right? So much. Including, I don't know if you noticed, we can even use agents to fill in things right here. But we're not going to go that deep. Okay, so additional settings. It's from Confluence Automation, reply name, blah, blah, blah. Don't need that. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Content tab. And look, Rovo response has been added. Now, that's not actually what we need. Because remember, we're not using Rovo response. We're using agent. So I'm going to go back to this step. And I'm going to grab this again. Bring it back. Go into that Content tab. And boop. And I am actually going to put this right at the top. Whoop. Just so everybody knows, right? Boop. This content was sent by Confluence Automation and generated by AI. Okay, I think this is really, really good to have these sort of prefixes here. Super cool. So they're going to get an email that says this, and then everything that my agent puts out, which is so fantastic. Next. All right. So here we are. This is done. We have created something that runs every Monday morning at 9 a.m. My agent is going to run and review the project, and then it's going to send a weekly email. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to review the content of this email because this isn't a real email, and I don't want to put my email on here because Lord knows what you all are going to do. So I am going to instead take another action so we can actually see what the text output would be in this email. So I've added a new action here, and I'm going to scroll through here because there's so many actions we can take. In this case, I want to take an action in Confluence, but there's Jira actions, there's Google actions, there's Amazon Web Services actions. So I want to Publish a new page. Let's do that. Okay. Page title is going to be, I'm going to grab the same title that we have here because I think that'll be fantastic. Template space. Here's a thing. Here's a pro tip. You can use templates in your automations, like creating a new page with a template. Problem is automations can't insert content into a page. They can only append it to the bottom. So I haven't actually found much use for that. If you have a template that you just need to publish that already has content in it, I guess you could use that. Like if you're like, oh, we use a template for our weekly meetings, then I guess that makes sense. But yeah, just in general, if you're creating a workflow or a flow where you're actually writing information, don't use templates. It just doesn't actually work. Okay, page content. Again, I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the same exact content that we are sending in our email. I'm going to put that here, and I'm going to say this Piaget was sent by created by Confluence. Excellent. Also, I want to say the page was created or published by our agent because that is rather accurate. Okay. Same space as the trigger. Actually, I want to specify specifically where I want this page to go. So I'm going to say it's going in this space and it's going under, let's go back to the structure because I'm a great project manager and I have a daily updates page already. So I want it published under this page. One kind of a bummer limitation at the moment is you can't have it published under a folder, only under a page, which is, I'm hoping the team is aware and they're working on that. So you have to publish it under a page. So I'm going to go under this page right here. Oh, I copied the link and not the name. How silly. There we go. Grab that. Here's the parent page. Please put it under this page. So every time this runs, it's going to create, or it's going to publish a new page under this particular page, which is cool. So if that's where my stakeholders went, or if I just wanted a copy of all the emails, I can even do both, right? Okay, so we're going to publish a page. All right, let's test this out. So I'm going to say, turn it on. Beautiful. Now, here's the thing. We can't actually test this as it is because we can't be on here until Monday at 9 a.m. All right, y'all, I have stuff I have to do. I have food I need to eat. So what we'll have to do to be able to test it is let's add a different kind of trigger that we have a little more control over. Yeah, okay, good deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our trigger and I'm going to throw it in the trash. Bye, trigger. Oh, sometimes it is fun to trigger. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different types of triggers, like, oh, somebody created a live doc. Let's start doing something. Or a really great one is like, hey, somebody edited a page, right? If you have a space that needs to be highly controlled and someone edited a page and you're like, that's strange. You could set up an automation that every time a page is edited, a group in Slack is notified so they can go review it. Right? Or every time a specific label is added to a page, or every time someone moves a page. So some very, very cool Confluence triggers here. I want this one, the manual trigger from page, which actually adds a button in Confluence we can use to run this thing. Who is allowed to run it? Anybody. Fine. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody. You can even add conditions as to like who can actually manually run it. So I'm just going to add that here. Let's update it. So the place where this button is put is a little bit odd, but it works for us. Not a new tab. I need this tab. So on any page in Confluence, in this menu, there's this automations menu. And here we're going to see our weekly swag store project status update automation. Let's run it. Boom. Okay, so it is doing its thing. And one nice part of automation is I can go to, I'll go to the main menu so you can see it. Right here, there's an audit log. This is super cool. You can see all of the automations I have run thus far. You can see every time an automation is updated or changed. So, for you admins, Also, you can see this one is currently in the waiting status. And now we can see it has completely run successfully. I can click into it and see information on all the statuses, and I can see all of the steps that it took and when it took them. And I can even click to say like, use agent, what agent? And then you're brought right into the flow to see that. So just so you know, there is full accountability here. Everybody knows what's going on. And your admin can see all of this as well. Okay, we've done it. So we told it to send an email. It sent an email out into space. Also, we told it to publish a new page under this one. So if we look, we have a new page. All right, let's see if that smart value worked. Well, would you look at that? It is, in fact, May 20th, 2026. So I definitely nailed that smart value. All right, so here we have our page. You can see that it was the owner of the page is actually our agent, which is really, really cool. And here's our text from the agent. And this is really fantastic. And you can see under the current roadblocks and risks, we can see the information about the accounting system memorandum. It's really important. Compliance and security review. So the agent is doing its amazing thing, but like I didn't, as the PM, have to do any of this, right? Because I have trained my agent to help me with this part of my work. So this is super fantastic. The email, I'm assuming, is also super fantastic. One other thing that we might want to do, and we're pressing into our database time, but y'all, this is so, so powerful. Sometimes roadblocks are a big deal and sometimes they're not, right? Or sometimes you don't even know that there are roadblocks, right? So let's add some intelligence in our workflow here, or in our flow here, to really amp it up. Like, let's say we have a process where when someone flags internally that a project has a roadblock in it, that it's immediately sent to a Jira space where a business analyst right away reviews the situation and sees, what stakeholders do I need to bring in, right? Sort of an escalation process. And this is a very real situation, depending on the type of organization that you work in. So I'm going to add a new step here, and I'm going to add a condition. And by the way, y'all, there are branches and also controls here. I don't have time to talk about these much, but we do have a really nice video about automation that you can check out, as well as at least one other live stream where we go a little more into depth with these things, but you can have all sorts of different decision making. So conditions are where we can say, like, if this is the case, go do this. If this is the case, do that. And that there's like a basic, if this, go do these steps. If that, go do those steps. What I want to do is I want to use a Rovo condition. So here, I'm going to bring in some AI to help me analyze the content to see if I should raise this up the flagpole, hoist it up the flagpole. Okay, so you can say use Robo to determine the relationship between content and a word or phrase. So I'm going to go back to here and get that same response from my agent, right? Same thing that our agent gave us. And I'm going to put it, wait, to determine, we'll reference the content smart value to determine the piece of code. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Brain. This is the text it's evaluating. I'm sorry. So I want it to look for things like roadblock, missed dates, delay, extra cost, concern. Sure. And what's actually going to happen here is it's not just evaluating for these particular words specifically. it's looking for, does it relate to these words, which is such a powerful thing that LLMs can help us with. We can actually evaluate what is the meaning of this, not just what, are the particular English words there. So I can say, yeah, so I want the content body relates to this. There we go. Okay, so now we have a Robo condition that's going to look at, okay, does this relate to these things? And then if so, then I'm going to take a new action and I'm going to do some Jira stuff. I'm going to create we could even comment on a work item, but I want to create a work item in Jira, and it's going to be connected to our good software one. And I want to create it in the swag store project, and it's going to be a task. And right, so we can do all the things. So here in the summary, I can say like, make it bold text and say, check this out. I can say this was created by AI. I can even make the work item created by our agent. So I'm not going to finish this up because we don't have the time, but you can see how we're taking a standardized business process, we're building it out, we can read through all the steps, and we can see how we're using our AI tools within the process so that we can kind of collaborate with our AI tools and also review them. In fact, another improvement we could make here is instead of just sending the email, which might be a problem, we might want to actually have two workflows and have one that runs automatically each week that just creates the new page and then sends us a message in Slack, the PM, to say, hey, go review this because it was created by AI. And then we could have a second workflow that is triggered with one of those buttons where the PM can say, yep, this is good. And it runs and it sends the email. And also Rovo helps determine if the thing should be run up the flagpole. All right, this is automation. There is so much you can do with automation. The fact that it is auditable is really, really, really important. Also, for those admins, yes, they can also see how much things are being used. And just so y'all know, when you run one of these, yes, it does, if it's using AI, it's going to hit, how many tokens you have to use. And also there are some automation limits depending on the package, the Confluence package that your organization is paying for and how many users they have. That said, we leave these problems up to our administrators, right? Because if we are finding that automating things and using our AI tools is saving us time or enabling us to do more, isn't that the whole point? Okay. If you all have any questions about automations, throw them into the chat now. I'm going to pivot over to databases, even though I would love to keep doing automation stuff because there's more fun we could have. So let's pivot a little bit to our event planning team, right? So as I mentioned, the event planning team plans 2 big conferences a year, GoodCon and then Good Times, which happens in the fall. GoodCon happens in the spring. So this year, the big conference is GoodCon 26, which is happening. Guess it's already happened. Anyway, here is our table of conferences. Conferences in the past, conferences in the future. And this is a database. And the cool thing is it looks like a table, which is cool because lots of us know how to use tables. Lots of us, are doing stuff in Excel. And we can just see valuable information. How many sessions are there, sponsors, all this stuff. Who the event planner is, which tracks are featured in it, where is it taking place, all of this good information. And it's cool. There's actually a link to a Confluence page where I could be keeping all the information, the written information about the event. And it's this page right here. It's not a good example page because it is completely empty. I apologize. But this is not just a table, y'all. Databases are so much more than tables and in many ways so much better. Do not let its appearance fool you. So for example, very quickly, I'm realizing, hey, look, this conference that happened last year, I need to update the status here. It's definitely complete. So I can click this field. This is a tag field. And I can just pick this value and say, yeah, it's complete. And actually, this one is too. Boop. These are both complete. Now you notice I didn't have to type that. I didn't, accidentally make a spelling mistake because I'm a bit of a sloppy typer. I just went and picked a different value. I could even search if there were a whole bunch of values here. I could pick a different one. This is one of the powers of databases is when you add a new column, you can pick the type of column it is. So for example, this is a text column where people can just enter text. This is a tag column where people can add one or more pre-selected values. These are some database counting columns. We'll talk a little bit more about those. This is a date column, right? So rather than depending on people to type in the date perfectly, which you saw how well I did with that, it gives them just a nice date picker so they can update the date of the event. So we can create really cool tables that also help us make sure the right content is displayed. Also, we can add some sorting. So you can see here, this is sorted by the latest date to the earliest date, because we want that, the latest conference to be at the top, right? And we're sorting from A to Z. There's other cool things we can do, but let's actually look at, or we'll look at that as we build. Also, if you've ever planned an event, you know that one of the worst things could be is copying and pasting. There's so many mistakes that can happen when copying and pasting. And that's why we don't manage events in tables, right? Because that could be a disaster. But it turns out this is way cooler. So for example, I see here that this conference covers these tracks, which is interesting. And some of the other conferences don't cover as many. But both of these have the Clever Solutions track. That's cool. And I can actually open this up and I can see information about this track, right? I can see the name of it, the description, the conferences it's been featured in, and the sessions. This is because you can actually connect databases to other databases, which is really powerful for organizing all of this information. So I know that these tracks are up to date across all the databases. In fact, if I go to my tracks database, just so we can look at it, here it is, just another table, just like the sessions table. And this is where, as an event planner, I would make sure everything is up to date. Maybe I would, update the description or update the track name. But you can see these are all connections to our other databases. So what this means for us as event planners is if I update my description here, it will be updated everywhere. It will be updated in my conferences database, in my sessions database, all of this. And speaking of sessions database, let's look at the sessions one, because this is a huge part of event management, right? You might have so many sessions that are happening. So for example, here are, there's 10 sessions here. We need to keep track of which conference the session is happening at, who is the speaker, speaker headshots, when is it happening, how long is it, what track is it using. All of these are interconnected. And I can say, I can very quickly say, actually, this one doesn't have to do with smart strategists. It's all about wise planners, right? So I can make all those changes and these still, these updates happen instantaneously and they're all interconnected. So another thing I could do is say, you know what? Actually, Pablo's not the speaker here. He also added Erica, right? So, this is fascinating. You can see I added Erica. And actually, Erica's photo was also added here because it's actually pulling from another database over here, the speakers database, which has information about our speakers, including their headshots. Here's all the bios and the roles. This is really, really fantastic stuff. I get so thrilled about this because it's a great tool for communication, and I'll show you what I mean. So very quickly, I've updated the speaker information. Let's look at a session page. So here's a session page, and this has information about this particular session. And if we go down, we can see this is where the team is tracking. Have we done all of our things with this speaker to make sure we're ready for the session? But up here, this is called a database entry, remember we looked, we have a whole database full of all the sessions. This is displaying the one entry about this particular session. So here's the conference it's in, here's the speaker's headshot, all the things. We can make any changes here we want. So actually, let's say we heard from Pablo, and Pablo actually is doing a 30-minute presentation, right? So I've changed that here. And now we can look across all of our databases and it's up to date. So if I go to the sessions database and we look for, what's the name of it? Increase Klarna? Okay. Yep. So increase cleverness. If I go over, it is now a 30-minute session. This is so fantastic for so many types of teams. If you're an event planning team, if you do project management, if you manage small like inventories and things, there is so much you can do with these interconnected tables. So let's actually build a database with the limited time we have so I can show you how that actually works. And I want to create a database for tracking rooms. So I'm going to come up here, boop, and I'm going to create a database. You can also use Create with Rovo to kind of describe the database you want. And I think I showed a little bit of that in Anaheim, but we're going OG basic database here. So I'm going to call this one Spaces. I think that might be right because event venues have rooms, but then there's also like spaces within things. So let's create some fields here, and I'll show you some of the different types of things we can do. So first of all, I want a unique identifier for each one of these. And the cool thing is I have numbered entries turned on this database. I can turn this off, but this is great because I know I need an ID so that we can quickly reference things. So done. Cool. Awesome. I need a name field. So this is going to be the name of the room, and the field type here is text. This is great because people can just type in what's the name of the room. You can have you should always add a field description here. This is really important for accessibility and understanding. So before any database is really used by anybody, you should describe what is this field. We don't have the time for that, unfortunately. I know that's not exemplary, but the nice thing is once this is enabled, anytime somebody hovers over the field, it will tell them, here's what this thing is, which is so important to make sure your data is magnifique. Okay, so now we're going to do the status. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm mistaken. What I actually want to do is, in the same way I have like an individual page for each session where I can have notes, let's do that for the room also. So let's change our field type. So it's not just text. Let's actually have it link to a page. So for these live docs or pages, I think I'll go with a page because I think you would kind of like write notes about the room and then kind of like want to publish that and have it be kind of concrete. If it was more like scratch note style, I would have it create live docs here, but I'm going to have it do pages. And then I'm going to have it drop under my existing database. You could have them created other places, but I want it created under my current database. I don't know why it's called untitled database, but that'll be fixed. Again, I could use a template. If I was really organized, I would have a page template to use here. That's actually a really great idea, but I'm not. Display entry on created pages. So remember I showed you this database entry? Checking that box means a new database entry will be added to every new page that's automatically created so that people can very quickly jump between the data that's in the database and the content that's on the page, which is super cool. And allow multiple links. No, in this case, I only want there to be a single link. I only want there to be one page linked to one room, right? Otherwise, that might become too confusing. So, that one is done. Cool. So I've added a page link. So now anytime somebody starts typing in here a room name, like the Ascend room. I didn't. Y'all. Ascend. That's not how we spell. Whatever. You have the option. It will search for existing pages, or it'll say, "Do you want to create a new one?" And boom, it's created a new page, and it's directly under this. Let's add another field. Oh, so much time, so little to do. Other way around. Page link. Let's add another thing. So I know these pages will have statuses on them. For every page in Confluence, there's a little thing up top where you can pick the status. So like, is it ready? Is it still under review? That's a perfect way for my team to track the status of each room. Is it ready? Have we worked with the venue to ensure that they're fully set up? So I'm going to add another column called status, and it's going to be of the type status. So you can see these are page and live doc fields. So this says displays the Confluence page or doc status. So this will display the status of this page. The status hasn't been set on the page yet, but hey, I could even set it here. I'm going to say it's a rough draft still. And now, because everything is interconnected, that has updated on my page as well as it's updated in here. Okay, another one that we could add is a type. So just like the type of room. And I'm going to use a tag field. So this is a really helpful field for, like I showed earlier, picking options. So this is going to be open space. Oh gosh. And there's going to be, come on. There's going to be a meeting room, and there's going to be a theater, and yeah. A lab. Sure, we'll have a lab space. In this case, I want people to be able to pick only one option because it really is kind of be one type of room. I could have a default value here. So let's say in this venue, almost all of them are theaters. I'm just going to have that as the default value to make people's lives easier, just to make data entry a little bit easier. Cool. So now when I go to create a new one, it will have a default value in it. See, default value of theater. How cool. What else can I show you? I'm running out of time. Why does this keep happening to me? Let's see. There's other things I could add, like I could add a media and files field here. And this could be images of the space, right? And then people can easily add thumbnails. Or they can just add images right here and they will be displayed beautifully like our speakers images. Really, really cool. Let's also, because I'm running out, let's add a really powerful link here. This field is called an entry link. So what I can do here is I can add an entry link field and I'm going to call this sessions. And this is so cool, y'all. I can connect this to my sessions database. And now I can say which sessions will happen in this room. So I'm going to say this session will happen in this room. And also this session is also going to happen here. And this room will have this session, right? So you can see how I'm just rapidly making interconnections so that as an event planner, I can tell which sessions are happening in this room. And I can add a column in my sessions database to show the room that my session is in. Super cool. One other thing that I want to show you really quick is the entry backlink. So another thing that I can do here is I'm going to say, I want to connect it again to the sessions. And what I want to do is I want to count how many sessions are happening in this room. That is not working. Why is that not working? I'm going to refresh it. Let's see. I may have made a logical mistake here. I need to make updates on the sessions side for this to happen. But you've seen this here in the conferences database right here, where I'm counting. Honey, I'm not offline. Please, I need to be able to show something right here. You can see right here, I've counted how many sessions are connected to the conference, right? So so this is really great when you're like, for our rooms database, you might need to say, how many sessions are happening in this room in total? You can do that. We've also connected our sponsorships database so we can see how many sponsorships we have happening. So these inter-database links are so important. Y'all, there are more field types that I really wanted to show you, but of course I can't. The real power in databases, though, comes from views. You can create as many views as you want. They're like tabs up top. And basically, you can change the way everything looks. So I could say, I want this to be a table, and I want it to be filtered in such a way, and I want to sort certain things. But in this case, like the table view isn't great for speakers because it's just a lot of written. stuff. So in this view, I actually chose the gallery view because I found this to be just a nicer view, not for data entry, but for viewing things. And what I can actually do is I can limit things even further. So if I go to the sessions database, you'll see I've made a few different views. Yeah, I keep clicking the wrong button. That's why I'm not seeing them. Here we go. So you can see here's the view, which is just all sessions by conference, right? So it's just my tabular view of all the sessions ever. But then I keep clicking that. I also have sessions by date, GoodCon 26 sessions, and then GoodCon 26 speakers. So if I look at this, I've pre-built this view that filters things down to only show the speakers. It's viewed in a certain layout. I'm filtering things. I've even hiding certain fields. And here's the cool part, y'all. This is when I want to click this button. If I copy the link to the view, if I go to anything, so let's say I write blogs every day or every week with updates about our session. I can come, or our event. I can come to this blog post or to a page or anything. There we go. And I'm going to paste that link. And now the view of that data is going to display live right here in my blog post. So right here, people can see that particular view. They don't have to look at the giant mega table. They can just look at what matters to them. This is so cool for communicating up-to-date information. And again, if I update things, it will be updated for everybody. We have a great video about Confluence databases and several live streams with Christina, who is a good friend of ours, who is the PM for this functionality. And yes, by the way, there are permissions, so you can say like, hey, the people that are reading the blog can't be messing around with all the info in my database. But this is the real power of databases, is interconnecting all of this information that in the past we just dumped into fields in a spreadsheet. So y'all, there is so much more I wish I could show you with databases and automations, and I have. So please do go check out k15t.com/learn, where you can read about all these things. Check out the YouTube channel. We have videos on all of these and live streams as well as shorts. Yes, all of this content will be created. You can come back to this same URL to watch the recording of this live stream, and you can check out all of our past live streams as well. Please do join us next week as we talk about automation, or building Rovo agents. I'm really excited about that. And also check out our monthly Confluence newsletter. You can subscribe to that. Go to k15t.com/learn. We fill that with all sorts of Confluence news, best practices, and everything from all the brains at K15T for the rest of us who are making and doing cool things in Confluence. Y'all, thank you so much for joining today. It has been such a wonderful time. I could talk forever, but please join us in another video or live stream as we continue to explore how to use Confluence, Jira, Loom, the Teamwork Collection, Rovo, and all the rest to share what you do best. Bye, everybody.